Welcome everyone back to another episode of Macro Crypto, where we talk about anything and everything within the crypto space, because at heart, we are crypto degenerates. And I'm sure you are too if you're joining us today. Remember, if you do enjoy the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, head over to our Twitter page at Macro Crypto Club, give us a follow. Like always, link will be in the description. Let's dive into our content today, which is our discussion around rebase tokens. And if you've been involved in this space, you've been slapped in the face all the way down in this bearish trend that we are seeing, not even within the crypto space, but just rebase tokens have just been obliterated. Okay. And what better time to talk about them than when they are reaching rock bottom, hopefully, I should say. As I should also indicate that none of this is financial advice. This channel is pure entertainment only, so do your own research. We're just giving you our opinion along the way. But we do have an investment within these protocols, and today we are going to start it off with Olympus DAO, the decentralized reserve currency, which is giving you a current crazy APY of 962. But if you've been in this space, that is a super low APY because it started out at 100,000% or right around that, and recently has just changed down to below 1,000%, which it was sitting at 5,000-6,000% recently. So understand that the lower that APY goes, the better. Obviously, high APYs incentivizing people to come and join the protocol. It gives people a reason to invest. Ultimately, though, we want stability, especially if you're in the space already. And if you're out of the space, you're still getting a great APY at a lower price, and you're not paying a premium to be in the protocol in the beginning. And we'll go over that. So is OHM a stablecoin? No, it's not a stablecoin. Stablecoins are backed one-to-one to the US dollar or another asset in the world like the euro. Okay, so you can use those instances like the USD coin, which is also like DAI, which is from the Maker protocol. Those are backed one-to-one. Those are stablecoins. If you don't understand stablecoins, just check it out. It's just one-to-one to the US dollar. Okay, now what OHM's trying to become is more of a reserve currency or backed currency. It has a basket of assets within it that back the currency. So think of it more how the gold standard was for the US dollar in pre-1971 before it got off of that gold standard. So a stronger currency is generally more sought after than a weak currency. This is because one of the strong currencies can get you more value than a weak currency, obviously. So if you have a bag of assets that are stronger, gives you a better asset class, in our opinion. Now, there are pros and cons to both types of currencies. On one hand, research shows that the gold standard example, long-term fluctuations of a backed currency are more stable among price and inflation, so long-term. But within the short term, you're going to see instability, which we're seeing right now. So that kind of gives you a reason to further look into this protocol, especially with the internet. Take a pause. Everything will be a-okay. The entire market's taking a bearish move right now, and just what is getting hit the hardest happens to be these rebase tokens, especially in the OHM protocol and Klima, which we'll talk about as well. And with OHM being a backed reserve currency and not a stable coin, Olympus DAO aims for OHM, which is the token within the Olympus DAO, to be a free floating reserve currency. So everyone believes that maybe, hey, OHM is equal to one DAI and one day it's going to come down. No, it's worth one DAI plus whatever the Treasury backed value currently is, which is over 500 million at this moment. If I stand corrected, go back, total value, the balance over 500 million. Yep. So with it being over 500 million, which brings you to, we'll go over what that value currently is. And then that free floating aspect of OHM is to allow for adjustments in the market, but still retain the value according to the market. So that's kind of pricing in inflation or deflation. That's the idea behind OHM. So you can really have a stable asset instead of a stable back coin that can be manipulated through inflation. OHM won't have that opportunity. In order to get into the OHM project currently within the last 6 months, you've had to pay a premium to get into it. And right now, that premium's almost gone. Okay, so as you can tell right here, we got our backing per ohm is at $53.32. The idea is that that value of the ohm price, or the value of any ohm, the token itself, cannot go below the backing. So the amount of ohm that's being created, as long as the continue amount of ohm that's being created also is measuring out with the amount of assets that are being backed within the Treasury continue to increase, we're only going to see this number pump up or stabilize. So if you're still paying a slight premium if you're deciding to get into the project now, but over time we only see this asset increase in value based off of people jumping in a protocol, especially during a time of a bull run. If you expect their bull run to happen at some point in 2022, you're going to see this price, and you can always measure against the backing per ohm and see how much of a premium everyone else is paying to see if you want to take out, if you decide obviously to invest into this protocol now, then you'll be able to see how do you want to play it moving forward. Is it just becoming too far into a position where this asset is worth, a little more than what the Treasury is showing? And then you can decide for yourself how you want to utilize, your risk. But right now you're getting a pretty low premium in comparison to how everyone else invested, or where this price was in comparison to the amount of backed ohm at the time, if that makes sense. I know that was a lot of verbiage, just rambling in general, but also want to talk about GOHM because there's different types. You can get ohm or staked ohm. We'll talk about how you can purchase each of them. The governance token, GOHM, is basically the current index times the price, gives you your GOHM. So if you have one GOHM, it's worth $4,814.49. Again, that is the current index times the price of ohm will give you your GOHM. And then going a little further into reserve currency characteristics, talking about that exchange should be free and easy. Liquidity must be deep so that it isn't highly volatile in the event of a crisis. But when you're in this much of an infant stage, obviously you do not have liquidity that's super deep, and it's going to cause for crazy instability in the short term, like we already discussed. The operating entity must have and manage liquidity. So meaning the ohm governance owns the liquidity, which they do. It started out with just, I believe, Zoof having the private key, then it started out with other 6, and now it's even further into the entire ohm community. So you can count on that. The only way that any of that's going to be messed with would be a vote, which no one's ever going to vote to pull those funds. So portfolios must be diversified to reduce currency risk and maintain healthy credit. So we'll talk about that portfolio and what's in their treasury, how diverse it truly is. You should be able to trade for various products, okay, which creates utility for the ohm, which is another talking point. And then we also want to talk about the bootstrapping is over. Bootstrapping, bringing people into the protocol by having an extremely high APY. Still over 900% is still a high APY. That's going to only go down over time, which is only going to create stability for ohm, in my opinion, into the future. So that's a good thing when the APY is coming down. You don't want to have these huge high APYs create volatility like we've already seen. And also talking about Olympus has succeeded in bootstrapping via these mechanisms, with the total supply of tokens currently approaching 10 million ohm and having a treasury of assets worth approximately 500 million. So we have over 500 million with a little over 10 million ohm in there. Take those two numbers, divide them, and then you get your current price of ohm, of course, plus the backed 1-to-1 on the DAI as well. And as we jump into talking about the bag of assets, not having just one asset within the profile or the portfolio. So if it goes down, Olympus just is wrecked. No, having an entirely diverse asset bag is important. And as you can see with this lovely Kirby illustration, ohm just gobbling up all the assets, and within those assets are also gobbling up other assets. So just remember that it could just be an endless line all over the place, so many different avenues, which is only going to make a stronger reserve currency at the end of the day in the long run. Right now, you're seeing a huge amount of stability is an issue. but hopefully that gets corrected over time. So some examples is Klima DAO. Actually, they receive 3.5% of the total supply of P Klima. Also, you talk about Phantom DAO and Volt and Det DAO. All these are different protocols within the Olympus protocol itself and is within their treasury for the backed asset. And then we do want to talk about how everyone believes Ohm is dead and it is nowhere near Bitcoin. Okay, so I want to put that ahead before we kind of go over this, that it is not Bitcoin. It's not trying to be Bitcoin, but it's something different in that asset class. And in the only comparison, obviously, here is that Bitcoin has been called dead over 400 times, probably more. It's, Bitcoin has gotten to where it is because of its resilience, especially during fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is FUD. Any FUDers out there just throwing shade at Bitcoin, and there's other Bitcoin killers coming in. Olympus is going through that right now. They're just going through the idea that it's dead, it's not coming back. Olympus is nowhere to be seen, and it won't make it. For Olympus, token insurance is decreasing. This likely means the downward sell pressure on the token prices will decrease as well. So do want to hint on also talking about why it's dying so much or why it's viewed dead. Leverage. Ohm just got over leveraged so badly that the price just got eaten up all the way down. And with other things, of course, the market conditions playing a factor. And no one wants to have leverage in the market so much, especially within Ohm. Understand this is that they're trying to create mechanisms within protocols to allow leverage, because if they don't, somebody else will. It's a matter of fact. So they want to have leverage on their protocol, but they want to have smart leverage because, again, somebody else will do it if they don't. And then on top of that, they got to create utility for Ohm, for people to use, whether it's G-Ohm or staked Ohm, using that for purposes that are going to gain wealth for an individual, for them to incentivize them to have Ohm in the first place. So that's something that's in the pipeline. It'll be awesome when they bring out some news on different utilization. And do want to talk about when APY is going down, everybody's looking at a wall when APY is going down, and then we're looking into the bright future. So which side are you on this? I'm choosing to be on looking out the window to the bright future, to the potential, what Ohm can be for this community. I do want to hit on real quickly options to buy Ohm. You can buy Ohm directly using Sushi Swap. I believe you can also use you should be able to use Uniswap if I remember correctly, and purchasing Ohm itself within those protocols. And then you'd have to then stake Ohm on their network, which all these links, I will put them in the description below. Also, you can buy Ohm, G-Ohm through the Ethereum mainnet if you just want to own. Remember, you can own G-Ohm without staking it, and it's just going to be the price of the index, which is always moving up based off of the Ohm that's generated. And then the price of Ohm, so it just matches, so that way you don't have to worry about staking anything if you choose to do that route. And then you can also use G-Ohm through Avalanche, avoid fees altogether from the expensive Ethereum gas. All right, so those are some options for you if you want to look into it. Remember, this link will be in the description, so that way you can dive a little further into it. Did want to quickly talk about, this is the Sherpa library, which will also be in there. It's just basically a bunch of Medium articles for you to review Olympus. If you want to take a deeper dive, I just figured make a video, give you a little bit of backstory on these protocols, talk about them, and let you decide how you want to play it. So Olympus, thus 3.3, constitutes a return of classical and distributist political economy. So skipping ahead, what this is a collaboration in DAOs, the ownership of one owns data and ownership of one owns wealth, with trust that good faith efforts can contribute to the common good. So ultimately trying to bring a decentralized asset that cannot be manipulated through I should say inflation or deflation in that matter, but that the asset is up and down, no matter what, you can feel safe about the asset class and the treasury, and the Ohm's trying to accomplish that. Do they get there? Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm taking a chance in it. I'll put this in down there as well. It talks about game theory essentials, talking about the 3.3 and how that operates in the game theory model. I'll put that down for you to dive into if you want. Now let's go ahead, dive into another rebase token that was a fork off of Olympus, kind of the only quote unquote real fork off Olympus, Klima DAO, which is a drive climate action to earn rewards on carbon backed algorithmic digital currency. Current price also at 44, all-time high was 3,500. But before the price became live, this was the price, I think it was like $35 within Alchemist. If you were kind of mining, I should say, I believe, kind of mining, earning, one of the two, the price of Klima before it shot off. So again, great time to buy into Klima, not financial opinion or not financial advice whatsoever, just entertainment opinion only. But within Klima right here, just understand that they are developing partnerships along the way. They're also trying to create utility within their product. The Klima Infinity is basically trying to enable on-chain retirements integrated with a new website. That new website will also have a redesign to it. It's going to try to be smooth, create more easier way to onboard people that don't understand what Klima is. The Klima Treasury total carbon in tonnage has only increased from the inception. This thing's only been around since October, but it's only increased the amount of carbon that it's locked up within its protocol. And if it can continue doing that over time, it's only helping the environment in their eyes, and they're going to be trying to get corporations to join that party and using Klima to do so. Klima holders over time has also only increased. It's starting to flatten out, but let's see how that changes when the market conditions change into a bull stage. When that will be, still, nobody knows. And then also talking about the Treasury market value, the TMV versus the market cap. This chart reflects the protocol's record of growing Treasury despite bearish pressure on the token price. A higher TMV to MC ratio signals that the Treasury is worth more than all the Klima in circulation. So again, if the Treasury is worth more than what the value is currently for all the Klima in circulation, in my opinion, you're not paying a premium anymore for this protocol. You're getting a discount. Just trying to put those two and two together. So I did want to hit on that the Klima protocol also passed a community vote, which dropped their APY very similar to Ohm and Olympus DAO. Their APY was around almost 30,000%, and now it's down in I believe the 9,000% currently right now, if I remember correctly. And that will just continue to drop very similar to Ohm as well as time goes on. But you can still get about 9,000% on Klima. And we'll just enjoy this quick short video for you as well. A little bit of advertising into Klima and what they're trying to accomplish in the long run.
Klima is the first carbon reserve currency that rewards individuals for helping fight climate change. We are creating a future where the cost of carbon to the climate is embedded into our economic system by aligning incentives between investors, civil society, and organizations. By investing in Klima, you gain exposure to a growing basket of sustainability-oriented assets that gives people a chance to fight climate change as a collective. Our system of incentive structures makes it simple for anyone to join the fight without having to organize a multi-million-dollar green energy project or plant a forest all on their own. You can simply participate in Klima and feel confident that your contribution is having a large impact on the fight against climate change. Welcome to the green side.
All right, welcome to the green side, everybody. That's Klima DAO. If there'll also be some links in the bottom if you want to join that fight. But just remember that they are creating a carbon bond market. That's the kind of the reason behind the rebase token side of it. It's totally different than what Ohm is. Ohm to me is a very long-term macro play. Klima is such an infant stage, and can it make a dent into the carbon market and attract buyers into it? That is going to be it's such a risky play, but it can have huge potential. So can Olympus. Not saying that it's not risky, It is also risky, but you're not paying the premiums that everyone else paid to get into these protocols, both in September, October, November, December. Currently, right now, you are paying a discount with Klima and paying almost a very low premium for the Olympus protocol. So just keep in mind, look at those two protocols, check them out. The one that stay away from is Time Wonderland. If you are a Time Wonderland backer, I feel bad for you. Their CTO, CFO, something like that is just been in a very bad way on stealing funds from a previous exchange, I believe a Canadian exchange. And the owner or the creator of Wonderland, Time Wonderland, knew about this ahead of time, even before hiring the individual, and came out and just kind of apologized, saying that, hey, he believes in second chances. Not saying I don't believe in second chances, but someone that's stealing funds from an exchange from, in the millions is someone it's definitely a project I don't want to be involved in, especially when the APY is above 81,000%. Just recommendation, stay away from the project. If you want some risky plays with huge potential blow off tops for the 2022, Klima and Olympus DAO are your plays. If you need anything, reach out to me in the comments section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, everybody. Until next time, peace, y'all.